I'm Jennifer.
Today we're doing the Bible recap, day 7. We're in Job chapter 14 to 16. So to start off with a little summary, uh, starting in 14, uh, Job is starting to question eternity. He doesn't really know what we know about Jesus and how there is life with God in heaven afterwards. He's troubled by his suffering and all that he's going through. Uh, in verse 4 of chapter 14, you can see God's grace. It says, only God can make us pure. And we move on. Job is wanting to hide from his suffering. He wants God to hide him away until he's no longer angry with him. But he doesn't want God to forget about him. He asks God to mark his calendar to remember him when he's done being angry with him. And in 15, we see Eliphaz. He doesn't like Job. He doesn't like his attitude. He doesn't like how Job is not taking responsibility where he thinks responsibility lies.
Yeah.
We obviously know that Job is righteous. He didn't do anything. This was God and Satan making a bet that Job was still going to be a righteous man at the end of this. And then in chapter 16, Job calls his friends out. He says, "You're a bunch of miserable comforters." He's getting fed up at this point. He's like, "Nope, I'm done with this. I need y'all to just stop. Y'all, I wanted you to help me, but obviously y'all can't do it. So I just rather y'all just stop."
Well, they weren't being good friends.
Yeah, they're being horrible friends.
Yeah.
Like every time they say something, it's your fault. You're doing this wrong, or you're a wicked, evil person.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is the summary from 14 to 16.
All right, so we'll get into the study guide questions.
It's a quick one today.
Yeah.
Only 3.
Yes. So, okay, number 1 says, how would you summarize Eliphaz's tone toward Job in chapter 15?
Like I said, he don't like Job's attitude. He's blaming Job and doesn't care what Job has to say about it.
Yeah. He's frustrated and bothered by how Job is acting. He doesn't understand. Like, obviously there's got to be something you did. Like, God didn't do anything. He doesn't do things wrong, so you've definitely done something wrong. Type of a deal. Yeah. And he's sarcastic too. Like,
I think all of their responses, Eliphaz, Zophar, Bildad, and Job, I think they're all being really sarcastic towards each other.
Number 2, Job references Sheol regularly. Look up that word in a Hebrew lexicon to get some potential definitions for what he's referring to. Strong's Lexicon on blueletterbible.org is particularly helpful. So I think... So when I looked it up, it meant underworld, like place of the dead.
Place of the dead.
Yeah. So Sheol. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right or not, but and number 3, the last question for today is, have Job's friends succeeded in easing his pain with their words of counsel? Why or why not? So I definitely, don't think they've eased him in any. They've just kind of riled it up and made him
I don't think
angry.
anybody that reads this is going to think they are helping.
Like, oh, he might have had some words.
Like, honestly, when we first started reading them, And I was like, okay, like they're making some sense. But then as soon as they start speaking, it's like their words start really showing that they don't really want to help.
Yeah, they're all, yeah. I always find reading their responses, it's so much harder. And I understand because like it's poetry, but it is so much harder for me to understand what they're trying to say. And maybe that's the point.
Yeah, I mean, they're just making it just worse on him. They're making him feel more guilt.
Yes.
Like they're just saying all these mean things. Like if somebody had just lost everything, family, house, everything, like they're suffering. I'm not coming up to them and telling them, "Well, it's your fault. It's your fault."
You did something.
Like
You had to have done something. This wouldn't
no,
have happened.
even if I think that they might have done something, I'm gonna try to comfort them. That's just kind of what you're supposed to do. I, I, there's some miserable comforters, dude.
Yeah. Well, that's all for today's question. And technically, we are finishing up week 1, so that's pretty cool. We're going to get on to our journals. Um, so, day 7 for the things you loved, learned, and noticed.
So I notice God's grace, His mercy. Like even during this, like He's there. Like He's there every step of the way.
Yeah. I noticed in chapter 14, um, Job kind of talks about covering our sins like Jesus does. So I thought that was pretty neat because it seems like Job, throughout Job, it does kind of foreshadow Jesus in that way. And like it's from Job himself, which is crazy because it's like, wow, that's what you're looking for. You're looking for Jesus and you don't know, but he eventually comes to do what you're asking. So, and then the questions and things that you want to research. Um, think so. I have what are shoots, which is chapter 15, verse 30, when they're talking about it. But when I looked that up, it refers to trees or growth. So I just,
Like bamboo shoots.
yeah, I guess so. Yeah, but
Yeah.
I was just, because, yeah, so 1530. They will not escape the darkness. The burning sun will wither their shoots, and the breath of God will destroy them. So I was just like, what?
So the shoots are like the very bottom. So it's like, I guess, whether like they're like the root. That's where they're kind of where the roots at
Yeah.
too. Like so,
I assume
they're
that's
just
what,
they're
yeah.
gonna wither and die. That's
Yeah.
basically what it's saying, I guess.
Yeah. And then today's God shot. Mine was that God is still in control, and limiting what Satan is doing to Job, like not killing him and stuff. So he's sovereign over that. He's in control even in all of those bad times, even when everything gets crazy and you're like, oh my gosh, he's in control of that. Like, he will let it go so far, or he will intervene when it's the right time.
So what I noticed in my godchild are basically the same thing, or they are the same thing. Like
His grace.
he's just always there.
Yeah.
Always
So,
there.
our little quote of the day says, God is sovereign over our lifespan. This should serve as a great comfort because he is trustworthy. So, that wraps up day 7 of our Bible recap. So, we are officially done with week 1, which
Yeah,
is
finally.
exciting. Yeah, which is exciting in itself.
Well, that wraps up day 7.
Week 1?
Yeah. We're the Breakfields. This is our journey to building unbreakable faith.
We'll see you for week 2.
Yeah. See you next time.